Mining job hunt video. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and in today's video we are going to collect mining jobs for the sponsors mining jobs to apply for page using Seek and the title Underground. So we'll type Underground in and give it a spin. We are also going to be talking today about bad advice people keep on giving out about trying to get into the production mining side of things in the industry. I've got a couple of examples that I'm going to show you and talk about, but we'll leave that to a bit later in the video. So let's have a look at the jobs first up. It's probably going to be a bit of a slow week this week because of Anzac Day. But here's one for a Drillers Offsider Underground. And as you can see, it is a pretty good wage that they're wanting to start you on. So they're wanting to start you on 110 to 120,000 a year on a 2-in-1 roster, which is a pretty good way to start. So service crew, it's a nipper's job, experienced truck operator. Remember, when they ask for experience, the reason that they're asking for experience is because they've had enough of trying to train people. They want somebody that they can throw in the deep end. So if you educate yourself and you can go to them and talk the language and be able to hold a conversation with them about how it all works, then that's what gets you over the line with these employers. And a shout out to all the people that have let me know that they're going for interviews at the moment, and a few people are off for medicals, which is great. And hopefully we'll be able to put a few more people on the Wall of Fame page shortly. But yeah, thank you to everybody that keeps sending the messages through about the interviews and all that sort of stuff they're getting, the progress that they're making. It's really good. So this is Offsiding Company again. We're going to post this one again this week, because it's a good way in, underground offsider. Do 6 months as an offsider, and then you can look at jumping over to a nipper or a truck, or if you don't want to stay on the path to getting to a driller's job as a diamond driller. So this is Goldfields again, looking for a nipper. And the reason that they go through so many people is because it's really easy to teach you how to do the jobs. What's hard is teaching you enough about how the mine works so they can leave you alone to do the job by yourself. And you know, this is what's going on with the Agi jobs underground at the moment. There's no end of people around the country with practical Agi experience that you could use on site. The problem is that everybody struggles to be left alone. If they can't leave you alone, then you don't have a job. That's the unfortunate thing about it. So this is Ruck. They've got a full crew ad, and it's for truck operators as well, so I'll put that one in. Again, they'll want experienced people, but at the moment, anybody with 6 to 12 months truck driving experience is looking for a service crew job or a pace crew job. They're not really looking to go sideways. There's that much around, and as we look through it, you'll see all the pace fill and the service crew and the charge up jobs and all that sort of stuff around. Shotcrete operators in Adelaide, charge up. Entry level drillers offsider. I'll put that in. That's in South Australia. That one might be on the surface though. Well, they're probably doing both if it's in South Australia. Drillers offsiders, Swick. These guys are probably one of the biggest diamond drilling companies around at the moment. They've got a good little system that they put people through before they send them out to site. They've got a setup here in Perth where they put you in a room with a drill rig that's set up and just basically turn the heat up and get you to pull rods. And yeah, you soon separates out who can do it and who can't quickly. So you can't really do that with the truck and the nipper jobs and all that sort of stuff. You can do that with the offsider job, but you're probably still going to get people that pass that area of the job and get up to site and still fail for other reasons. But they've definitely reduced the amount of turnover they've had by doing it that way. But like I said, that's pretty easy to do with a diamond drill. It's a lot harder to do with the nipper and the truck job. And the Agi job as well. Because with the diamond drilling job, you're pretty much going down to where the diamond drill is and you stay there all day. With the other jobs, you roam all over the mine. That's paste. We've got a few people going for interviews with paste fill at the moment, which is good. And it just shows you that, they're even looking at people to entry level into paste crew because they've just got nobody. And truth be told, if you got 12 months truck experience or nipper experience up, you're probably more looking to try and go into a service crew job than a paste crew job. To stay on that main track up to the jumbo, because that's everybody's goal. Try and get as high as you can. They're the jobs, the jumbo jobs, the ones that pay the most on the crew. If you want the really big money job, that's the foreman's job. But with all the big money comes all the responsibility of making sure the mine works completely, and you get your targets and all that sort of stuff. So it can be one of those things where, it's a lot of money, but a lot of responsibility. Like I said, there's not that many jobs around. Operator. Grader operator underground. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is the bad advice that keeps going around. And one of the things that comes up over and over again is that you can get into a production mining job, so one of these jobs that I'm loading up here, through a utility job. And anybody that's telling you that really doesn't understand how the industry works, the poaching rules, what the employers actually want. Because if the employers really wanted people with utility experience for these mining production roles, then they would ask for it in the job ad, and they just don't. They ask for labouring backgrounds and that sort of stuff. They don't ask for the utility workers that are already on site. And there's a reason for that, is because there's no transferable skills, unfortunately. It annoys me that people keep doing it, because 90% or 95% of the people that get a utility job are just getting a dead-end job. There are a few people that make the jump across, but they are the exception to prove the rule, and the majority of the time those people are very charismatic and they would have made the jump across from anywhere. And that's the truth about it, is that if you've jumped in to try and get your foot in the door as a utility worker, chances are that's where you're going to stay, because there's not a lot of opportunity around to jump over to the production mining side of things. And especially with the poaching rules, but mostly because you're not actually learning anything about how the mine works. You've got to remember, they want people that they can throw in the deep end. That's why if you know how to drive an Agi, the best thing to do is to educate yourself how the mine works before you put your hand up to go and do it, because that gives you the best shot of making it when you get to site. And that's what you're after. You're after your best shot once you get to site to actually do the first 6 months and make a career of it in the industry, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people get into this industry on a wing and a prayer, and then they go from there, and they don't last very long, unfortunately. If you don't know how the hard rock mine works, as an example, the nipper or hard rock underground mine works, then, if you go in as a nipper or a truck driver, you've got more than a 50% chance of failing. That's the industry standard, unfortunately. That's why there's all these jobs around. That's why there's so many bitter people around the place that you come across. Diamond Driller Offsider. So West Gold had traineeships for nipper and truck last week, and now they've got their ad up for diamond drillers this week. Everybody's motoring through people, unfortunately. It's not for everybody. A lot of people get to site and go, this isn't for me, which is fine. But, you've wasted a lot of time and a lot of money if you go down that path. We'll keep going for another couple of pages and have a look, see if anything else comes up. Raised bore drillers, auto bench hand, drill fitter, filter, trade assistant, Dubbo, so that'll be somebody on the mill. Raised bore drillers, and we'll do one more. Drill fitter, excavator operator. Let's try job again. Development, grader operator, McMahon's. New South Wales, that's coal. Alright, I think we'll call it quits. Let's go and have a look at the metal prices. That's my venting over. And so, yeah, the big thing that I want people to get out of that is that, you know, make sure that if you're getting advice off people on the internet, or you're taking advice, you know, from people about getting tickets or getting your foot in the door or writing resumes or whatever the hell you're doing, is that you know that they're from the industry, in the area of the industry that you want to get into, and that they can create a pathway for you to get into that industry. Because just redoing your resume and telling you you're going to get a production mining job, that ain't working. You've got to give the employers something. If you're just spending $500 getting your resume redone, chances are it's just going to fall through the cracks. You need to be able to show them that you know how their mine works if you want to get their attention. So that's the big thing that you need to do. You need to be able to show the employers that you know how their mine works, because when you can do that, they click that they can throw you in the deep end, and that's what they're after. So let's have a look at these metals. It's over $3,000 an ounce for gold, and copper's down a little bit below $13,000 a tonne, and nickel is above $36,000 a tonne still, which is really good. If we come over to coal, coal's consistently doing well at $138.50 a tonne, and it's making a nice little flat bench across there, which is really good. So hopefully that'll keep everybody in the coal industry chugging along for a few more months. And if we come over to our map of where all the jobs are, where all the mines are around the country that are producing metals that are going into batteries and gold, you can see where they all are. There's lots about. There wasn't a lot about this week because of Anzac Day. There was a lot last week, probably because of the lead up to it. There was still a little bit around, especially here in WA. There was a bit in New South Wales. Last week there was a lot that was fly out of Brisbane and Townsville area, and there was a fair bit that was down in Tasmania over the last 4 weeks. These areas of the industry, these mines around the country, they continuously need new starters. They're turning people over. If you go in green, the industry average is more than 50% failure rate, unfortunately. That's why there's so many job ads up. That's why the job ads are consistent. The easiest way to navigate yourself around that is to know how the mine works before you go. And you can use the sponsor's DIY training package to do that. It's got all the information that you need to understand how the Hard Rock Underground mine works and what you're going to have to do in it. If you want some help, check out the Work Ready package. You get one of us shift bosses to help prep you. It becomes our job to make sure that you've understood all the mining information in the training, so you can hold that conversation with the foreman, because that's what gets you the job, being able to hold the conversation with the foreman. And if you come up here and go down to our Wall of Fame page, you can have a look at all the people on there that have actually done the training and gotten jobs because of it. And like I've already mentioned, there's a heap of people that are interviewing at the moment, and some people that have gone on to medicals. But that's what you're after. You're after the interviews. That's why you're signing up for the training, to get the interviews. It's up to you in the interview to show them that you know you've studied and you know how the mine works. But the first point of reference is getting the interview, and that's what the training's going to help you do. Once they see that training on your resume, it gives them something to talk to you about, and it gives you something to offer them. And that's what the most important thing is, something to offer the employer so they can throw you in the deep end. If you haven't looked at this video, getting thrown in the deep end in your first mining job, check it out. I go through how, basically, because we're in a boom at the moment, unfortunately, there's a lot of movement around of bosses and new starters. A lot of new starters fall through the cracks, so you end up getting thrown in the deep end, and a lot of people, they can't learn to swim in time, so they sink, and that's why there's a huge turnover. I know I've gone on about it this video, but a lot of people are going into this with rose-colored glasses, and the most important thing you can do is go into it with a level head on your shoulders, because if you don't, you're gonna have a bad experience. There's no easy way around it. It's easy to have a bad mining experience. There's so many things that can go wrong. So I hope that information helps, and remember, when you're getting advice from people on the internet, make sure that you qualify where they're from and what they're talking about, because a lot of people carry on with a lot of shit that they don't know about, and they influence people, unfortunately. So make sure that you understand exactly where that person's coming from, and is this information going to actually help you or hinder you? Because if they're telling you to get a utility job to get your foot in the door, it's not going to help. So if you could share this video around and like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.